Hi there, it's Tony with lidl.doodle. I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for stopping by my channel. For today's video, I wanted to share the journals that I am currently working in 2024. While bullet journaling is a big focus of mine, I know it's not for everyone, and I thought you might get inspired or get a spark for your own journal by seeing some other ideas of how to use journals. So the first one I'm going to just show a couple of pages is in my bullet journal, but not planner related. I do use my bullet journal for a catch-all. It's my planner, keeps my to-do lists, phone numbers, prescription numbers, bills tracking, etc. But I also do a lot of random art in my journal and test out what this kind of paper can hold. So a few random pages that I wanted to share. I ended up with this fun journal pack of different papers and things. These two pages were from, well, this is like out of an Alice in Wonderland book, and this was just this kind of fun card, and I wrote different Alice in Wonderland quotes all around it and added some stickers. It was kind of fun. Another thing I did, I get these little cards, Goulet pens. I did not draw this. Goulet Pens sends little postcards with their orders, and so I just glued this in. I like to collect different note card stickers, etc., that I might have a place for in my journal if I have an empty page. So I just took this one and glued it in and did some Zentangling around it, which I thought was kind of fun. This one was a spread that I just didn't have anything to do on this spread, and so I grabbed some of my mild liners and I just did a big mark making page. This is a fun one that I've shown students to help them when we're working on abstract art. It's not like it's some great piece of art, but it's not intimidating, and when I have students who struggle in art or have special needs, this is something that I feel like is pretty accessible. It's just shapes and marks, and it's just kind of a fun, easy project that I help kids do, and I enjoy doing as well. Another page that I wanted to share was some watercoloring that I did. I was inspired by something I saw on Pinterest, which is pretty typical, and I just grabbed my watercolors and just kind of did some loose painting of flowers and some splatters, and I am just continually impressed with how the Leuchtturm paper holds up. This is watercolor as well. I did the same idea for my weekly of the next page. And then the last one that I was going to show, oh, nope, that was it for this. Okay, so before I started doing a daily journaling practice in the next journal that I'm going to show you, I would do brain dumps in here as well, and just kind of get it out onto the paper, whatever was on my mind. And so I have quite a few pages in here that are just like kind of Dear Diary. So that's my bullet journal. The next one I'm going to show you, this is a Hobonichi Techo A6. This is not the cover that it came with. I found this cover on Etsy and I thought it was super cute. Shortly after I bought this cover on Etsy, the official Hobonichi website released some new covers, which they do every few months, it seems like. And you guys, I had to get this. Look at this. It's Cats on Toast. It is so weird and it is so delightful. I absolutely love it. So I purchased it and I haven't been ready to exchange the cover that I got off Etsy for this one, but I'm saving this. I will definitely find a way to use this because, I mean, how stinking cute is that? And weird. Cats on Toast. I love it. Anyway, so for my Hobo Daily, how it is set up, it's dated, it's one date per page. It's got a grid. I don't really pay much attention to like the time or anything else. I kind of cover everything up. It has a blank page for the start of every month. And what's fun about this one is I buy sticker packs and just decorate the heck out of it. And I end up really enjoying turning the page, you know, when I've set up maybe a couple weeks in advance and turning the page and I didn't remember what color scheme I used or anything. And then when I sit down and journal, I try to match the ink I'm using to kind of the color scheme of the journal. One thing that has been challenging about this is during the week, we have a pretty set evening routine that ends with us sitting in our office for about 20 minutes to half an hour and just updating all of our journals. And on the weekends, I find that I kind of fall short of that, not in my normal routine. And so I'm going to maybe set a reminder in my phone or something so that I can get back to every night. Like sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm writing this on Monday or whatever, but it's okay. So that is my Hobonichi Techo. The next one I'm going to show you, this was an impulse buy back in January. It is a 5-year Hobonichi A6. My husband had the idea that we could each do one as a way to look back and see our days from past years. And so this is how it's set up. This is just a random page in May. On the left side, it's a little section for each year. So you write a few lines for this, and then you flip the page, and you're not going to look at this again for a year, which is kind of crazy. And then this page is just a blank page, and what I've done, let's see if I can find just a quick easy one, is I'll just write a few lines and then maybe I'll put a little sticker. Sometimes I write the ink down or the pen that I'm using, or some doodles or something else, or just put some stickers in there. So this cover was handmade by my very talented husband. I wasn't liking any of the 5-year covers, and he has experience with leatherworking, so he offered to make me this beautiful cover by just from a piece of plain leather, that scrap that he had out in the garage. And he picked the color for me and dyed it. He hand stitched it. He made pockets and hand stitched those. So this is going to be a really sturdy cover for something that I hope I will be using for the next 5 years. Okay, the next one I'm going to share is my reading journal. I keep track of the books that I read on Goodreads, and this year I decided I had this little Leuchtturm A6 laying around, and I thought it might be fun to do a reading log where I add more information than what I put in Goodreads. So last year I had the goal of reading 75 books, and I met that goal, and so I decided to bump it up a little, and this year I have a goal to read 100. I'm really slow out of the gate because I've actually picked a couple books that I kind of struggled through. So hoping to speed up a little bit. But here's my little reading journal that I thought would be fun. Just some stickers and nothing on the first page. And then my little cover page, which as a side note, I love my Bitmoji. I put it on my slides at school for my students, and I don't know, I think it's just super cute. Anyway, here's my reading goals. 100 books. I want to add more audiobooks, and I don't want to pressure myself to read outside of my most interested, or the genres that I am most interested in. So what I did, or what I'm doing, is printing off a little book cover sticker and writing what's the Goodreads rating, the Amazon rating, and then how I would rate it just out of 5. A little synopsis, thoughts, and a quote. This one I put the date that I started and ended. This was the first book I read of 2024. It just took me 2 days to read it. I don't know if I'll do this for every book or a full spread for every book, but for these few, I just did 1 page for each of these. As a side note, this is not a book review channel, but my gosh, you guys, I hated this book. I like Frida McFadden. She writes some pretty twisty thrillers. This one was garbage. I absolutely hated it. I barely made it through. I wanted to just finish it so I could give an honest opinion about how horrible it was. I'm still working on this one. Sometimes I take a little bit longer with nonfiction, and so I actually started this back on February 10th. It's still just on my Kindle. I'm about 3/4 of the way through. I'll go back and finish that soon. This was one that I really liked the cover. It was so just kind of dark and creepy, but I just couldn't get into the book. It was a recommendation from my husband. He likes horror. I'm not as much into horror as I am thrillers, but this one I just broke up with. I tell my students that life's too short to read books that we don't want to, and so I don't have a problem with breaking up with a book if it's just not speaking to me. And then this was a cute little cozy mystery that I read for St. Patrick's Day, and it was pretty cute. I have a few more that I need to put in here, but I tend to do like batches, because if I print off just one little book sticker, it takes up a whole sheet of sticker paper. So I typically wait until I have a handful to print out. So this journal, I got this off Amazon when I saw this GLP Creations, and I was like, oh, kind of intrigued. Uses Tomoe River paper, and it is dotted, and I wanted a specific journal for inks, pens, things I'm thinking about with inks and pens. I did this cover page with my, is it Kakimori dip pen, and it's super cool, but there's a learning curve there. So I'm working on it, practicing how to use that best. But this is where first of all I catalog what inks I have in my pens that are currently inked up right now, and I have a lot of pens that I keep inked up. I know a lot of fountain pen people are like, they keep it to 3 or keep it to 5. I am kind of more of I ink up a lot of pens because I use 6 different pens a week that I take to school with me. Sometimes I will swap those out even midweek. I write in all of my different journals with my different pens, and so I like to have all of my pens inked up, or not all of them, but quite a few of them inked up at once. I have done a couple of pages where I've highlighted a pen. This was the pen that I spotlighted in my last video. This was the last pen that I received for 2023. It was a gift from my husband. I have a list of my favorite inks that I was using in January, or just what was kind of on my mind for January inks. This was the first bottle of ink that we purchased in 2024. It was a special edition from Drum Ghouls, and it was called is called Slytherin Green, and it came, and the bottle had a blue sticker, so I felt like that was a little weird. Anyway, this is a couple of pages of my favorites from the Diamine Inkvent calendar. These are some pairings of inks and pens that I really liked. My first pen of 2024 was an Opus 88 Mini special edition from Goldspot Pens in the Cherry Blossom, and I got it in a 1.4 stub, which is so fun. Not an everyday writer for sure. This was just the TWSBI 580. I'll do a spotlight of the TWSBI 580 at some point. They are great pens. And then just a couple of inks that we got, some goals that I have that this page just kind of popped out. I did the worst ink that I own. I hate this ink. It's horrible, but I'm not going to throw it away because I will take it to school and we'll do ink monsters or something with it. And then this is the most recent pen that I ordered, and a bottle of the Pilot Iroshizuku Konpeki. So that is my ink journal. I'm only doing one side of the page just because some of the inks really ghost, like this one especially. So I'm on page 55 of this. I won't have any trouble filling this up by the end of the year. And then I have a test page on the back. So. Okay, the next one I'm going to share is my ink tracker, and I apologize if the editing from the last journal to this one is rocky. I had a little upset with my camera and had to do some extra editing, and I'm still getting the hang of all that. So thanks for your patience. Anyway, this notebook is a little more practical than creative. I keep a catalog of all of the inks that we currently own, and I do a little blob and a little writing sample. This is pretty helpful when we get a new pen and we're like, hey, you know, what oranges do we have? Or if we're like, oh, do we already have a bottle of Diamine Pick Me Up, and then I can look at our catalog of what ink bottles we currently have in our collection. And honestly, when I first started this hobby 10 years ago, I never would have imagined that I have a lot of ink bottles. We also keep track of our samples. So I'll do a little writing sample, and that way if I'm looking for a specific color or wanting to buy a bottle of ink, I can look back at the samples that I have to see if there's any samples that I want to buy full bottles of. And then lastly, in this, every year Diamine releases an ink vent calendar for the month of December, and they have 24 small ink bottles. You open the little window every day. And I did a little tracker for all the 25 inks in that ink vent calendar. This was the second year we did it. First year that I kept track like this. And then on the 25th day, they give you a full bottle. So that's why that is a little bit bigger. So that is our ink tracker. And then the last one that I'm going to share, this is a Galen Leather A6 and Tomoe River paper, and it's blank, which I never buy blank journals. I had to actually look back at my Galen Leather order when I got this to make sure that they didn't accidentally send it to me because I didn't remember ordering it. And I kind of have, I think my brain just automatically throws journals and notebooks in my shopping cart when I'm shopping online. But I also don't feel like there's ever such a thing as too many journals, notebooks, because they will definitely get used in our house. So I decided to, this is a little pencil card, by the way, if you see me using these, it just provides a harder surface underneath your paper. But I don't do a lot of art or doodling with my fountain pens, like by itself. And so I decided I wanted a journal specifically for fountain pen art. And so my plan is to fill this just with Zentangles of using my different fountain pens. I love Zentangling. It's just like meditation for me. I'll do it when we're just hanging out, watching TV, having TV on the background, listening to music, listening to a podcast. But I just decided I would play around in this journal. This I just splotched some ink, and then I did a plastic bag to kind of smear the ink, and then I just did some doodling on top of it with my fountain pens. This I did a little bit of watercolor here, and then just did some doodles on top of that. But this is also a good way for me to be making sure that I'm using all of my fountain pens. Some of them, this is not with a fountain pen. The black is, but the white was just a white gel pen. I threw down this darker ink, not even really thinking it through that I don't have a fountain pen that has ink that would show up on it. So, but it's just a really nice way to be using my fountain pens and playing around with the different inks. Oh, still working on that one. So that is the last journal that I'm going to share. Let me know in the comments what you use your journals for. I would love to know what other people are doing in their journals, and I'm sure as the year goes on, I will be adding more things to my journals. And then for our pen spotlight for today, I made a dedicated page in my new bullet journal for this, so I can keep track of the pens that I spotlight. This is the Opus 88 Grumpy Kitty. Oh, let's see if I can get it to focus. There we go. It's a mini Opus 88. I have a broad nib on it, and there's these weird little kitties on there. It's super cute and just kind of dorky and weird. And I thought, since I showed my Cats on Toast cover, that I would spotlight my Grumpy Kitty. This is filled with Robert Oster. It's a great brand, and the color is Cafe Crema. It's a really nice smooth brown. So I'll just, it can be a little bit of a hard start. I have found my Opus nibs to be pretty flexible, which I like. It's kind of a bouncy nib. It has a little bit of feedback that you might be able to hear, but that doesn't bother me at all. And it's a broad nib, and I have Robert Oster, and they spell the cafe with 2 F's, by the way. Crema. Yeah, so I think I got this, was a special edition from Goldspot Pens. I'm not sure if they still have it in stock, but it's a super cute pen if you want to check it out. Oh, sorry, I'm still learning how to do this, you guys. So anyway, that's all for today. Thank you for checking my video out. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have taken inspiration or a tip for your own journals. Have a great day.